my name is Jeanne Boge. I am a professor of nursing at Western Norway University of Applied Science. This second video about praxeology deals with epistemology and the construction of habitus. In the craft of sociology, Bourdieu gives a detailed account of how to generate praxeological knowledge. He argues that theoretical knowledge of a social practice has a practical, a phenomenological, and a structural dimension. In the construction of praxeological knowledge, one questions established truths in light of the historical context in which the practice arose and operated. Describing, explaining, and understanding a contemporary practice in light of the past is consistent with French historical epistemology, which is based on a theory that the history of science is not characterized by continuity, but by radical breaks, and that thorough analysis of breaks can contribute with explanations and understandings of a contemporary practice as it appears in action and texts. Bourdieu argues that agents act in accordance with an embodied practical sense. For instance, when getting an education, establishing a family, or entering the workforce. The practical sense can be examined by the construction of habitus. Habitus is a theoretical concept. The construction of habitus is based on data on position, dispositions, and positionings. Positionings can be data on agents' past and present attitudes, opinions, and actions. Doxa, heterodoxa, and orthodoxa are key concepts in the analysis of positionings. Doxa is a set of beliefs, often unwritten and unquestioned positionings that are taken for granted. For example, one might assume that members of the Norwegian Liberal Party are in favor of a liberal abortion policy. If heterodox positions arise, for example, someone who questions a liberal abortion policy, fights might arise. Those with the highest position usually have the power to maintain and revitalize doxa. This is, they are orthodox. In order to explain and understand positionings, one constructs the actual social field. A field is not a physical space, but rather an area with a relatively autonomous logic regarding how to act. A field can have several social agents with different levels of power to define doxa, which means different levels of power to define the dominant opinion about the practice in question. In the medical field, for instance, the agents can be patients, healthcare workers, occupational therapists, doctors, and nurses. When constructing the social field, you need data about the position the agent with different professions have in the field. For example, a nurse can be a recent graduate, the head of a department, a professor, or something else. In addition to data on positionings and position, one needs data on cultural, economic, and social capitals that have contributed to agents having the position they have in the field. Cultural capitals can be education and leisure activities. Economic capitals can be income and property. Social capitals can be family, friends, and social networks. Studies often start with a curiosity as to how a social practice is the way it is. For instance, to how it is the some in the Norwegian Liberal Party question a liberal abortion policy. In search for an answer, one can analyze how the party has positioned itself to abortion, for example, in earlier party programs. The positionings are explained and understood in light of the position and the dispositions of the positioner. On the basis of data on positions, dispositions, and positionings, one can generate a theory about how it is that a practice is the way it is in a certain social field. In praxeological studies, the researcher is not considered an objective bystander, but rather an agent who acts in all parts of the study. Researchers can make themselves transparent by constructing their own habitus. A thorough social analysis is a large body of work that involves much more than telling one's own life history. However, many masters and PhD students have done meaningful mini variants of an auto-social analysis. This was the second of 4 videos about praxeology. The next video deals with the use of Bourdieu theories in analysis of documents.